Joining us now is Jillian Cardarelli. Hello, how are you?
Doing so well. Thank you so much for having me.
So we have a mutual friend uh, in Big Daddy Rich Salgado, and I was so excited when he said, "Do you know who I know?" And I'm like, "I don't know who do you know," because he's always sending me good friends and vice versa, because that's what this business is
Right.
about, right? It's about
Yes.
collaborating. So when I got a chance to meet you, I was super excited. So Jillian, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here and nice to meet you virtually as well. I've heard so much about you, so it's an honor to be here.
You didn't grow up in Nashville, Tennessee. Where did you
I did.
originally start?
Massachusetts, oddly enough. So I moved to Nashville about 8 years ago and have been here ever since.
Now, growing up, did you listen to any country music at all? Or
It,
did they not really have a station up there?
oh, it's all I listened to growing up.
Okay.
It's kind of my grandfather was stationed in Georgia during World War II. And then he moved back home to Massachusetts and brought his love of country music there. So it's kind of all I really listened to on the radio station with him. And then my dad listened to it. And I never really associated it with the place. I just fell in love with the storytelling. So that's kind of why I fell in love with country music.
In my early days, like I was 16 years old, and I had my first car, and my car only had an AM radio. And so on my AM radio, it was just the country station that I could get. And I loved it. It was like Alabama and Willie. And, and there's something about, like you said, the storytelling. It's like we always wanted a big 2-story house, or all of the lyrics are just so meaningful because it's what it is. So tell us about your newest single, Drop.
Dropped, yes. That came out about a month ago, and the video premiered on CMT 2 weeks ago, which is so exciting. And my producer Alex played the song for me, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's just a very confident song, and that's kind of the theme of my EP. So it just was a really great fit, and I'm excited that everybody's gotten to hear it and watch the video.
What's the first time that you were in the car, maybe, or at home, and you turned on, the radio, or you heard yourself for the first time? What was that like for you?
Pretty surreal. I remember it was Radio Disney Country on their XM radio station, and they played my song Rerun, which came out a few years ago. And it was just a dream, come true, hearing yourself through the radio station. And even now, seeing my video on CMT, which is a station that I grew up watching since I was 5 years old, Shania Twain. And I was like, oh, I want to be on that someday. So it's a very full circle type of moment, and just I'm happy to be here.
And I think those moments for us personally are the moments that kind of like, for me, it was when I interviewed Jay Leno. I didn't feel like I grew up to be a talk show host until Jay Leno came on the show. And I called my dad in St. Louis. I said, and I had by then I had done the show for like several years. I said, Dad, it's not like I grew up to be on the Tonight Show. I said, Jay Leno was on your daughter's show. And I think for some reason, we all need that validation. There's a goal, there's a something. We want to leave our mark. We want to make a difference. We want to give a gift to our audience. It's why artists do things, right? It's to give them a gift. So,
Absolutely.
So with this newest collection, if you will, that you've been putting together, what are you hoping that you're gifting to the audience?
Music for me has always been very healing for anything that I'm going through, the happy moments, the sad moments, and all of that. So I hope that there's a song for someone, a song for everybody on this EP that can help them get through a hard time or fall in love to, dance to, mend a broken heart to. I think there's going to be a little bit of everything. So
I like that, mend your broken heart. And we are not just alone in this fishbowl. So who are some of the creative collaborators that made this journey for you possible in this particular case?
This song, the latest song. My producer, Alex Klein, she's incredible. She was one of the first writers I ever wrote with when I moved to Nashville. And we've been working together for the past few years. And she just had her #1 song with Snail Arts, first female producer ever solo to have a #1 hit. And she's just incredible. And she really gets my sound and my artistry. And I think without her, it wouldn't be possible to have this collection of songs be what they are and really showcase who I am as an artist. So she's a big influence and such a gift to the team.
And how do you take care of your instrument? Are you have any like secret tips? Like, is it honey and lemon? Is it like, what's your go-to soothing?
Concoction. I use throat coat tea probably every day. Throat coat, a little lemon and a little honey. It's the perfect morning wake up brew.
And for your family, I'm sure they're very, very proud of you. Is there a song that resonates that's maybe their favorite? What's the feedback from your own
Oh,
family?
well, they love, they're so proud. But I think the biggest one would probably be Strong, that I wrote about my mom who's battling stage 4 cancer. And I wrote it with Charles Eston. I don't know if you've seen the show Outer Banks, but he's one of the main characters on that show. And we wrote that together a few years after my mom was diagnosed. And was never really going to release it. I was like, oh, this is more of a personal song for me. And then he and I played it at a show. And I just got so many messages from people being like, oh my gosh, this song reminds me of my mom or my sister or my brother. And I said, I think we need to put this song out in the world. And we put it out in 2020 during a very hard time for everybody. So I think that's my family's favorite because it's so personal yet universal at the same time. I think everybody has people in their lives that are strong and inspire them. So that's probably my favorite that I've written so far for this project.
100%. And how will you be celebrating the holidays this season?
We are going to be in Nashville for Christmas, our first Christmas as a married couple. And then we're going to Florida for New Year's, get a little beach time in, which will be very nice.
It's the best of both. I was just telling, I interviewed somebody just recently, and I got a chance to be in Franklin this past weekend, and they did the Charles Dickens days. It seems like, there's so much quaintness and loveliness in Nashville. There's so many ways to celebrate, right?
That's something I was out of town this past weekend, but that's on my list to do hopefully next year, the Dickens Christmas, and it just looked so magical. I love Christmas. So I'm like, I need to do that.
And where will you be performing live next, Jillian? What do you have coming up on the horizon?
Probably the Listening Room Cafe in Nashville. We're going to probably do a show around when the EP comes out in February, the full project, and kind of frame something around that. So very excited to get back on stage in the new year.
Well, good. Well, hopefully I'll get to see you in the new year, and maybe I'll just scoot back down there and I'll be in the audience. But
come visit us.
You're a delight, and my best to you and your entire family. And thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to meet you.
Oh, you too. Take care, Jillian. Be well. Bye-bye.